afternoon everyone. Hiya, how are we all? Welcome to our Tuesday tea time chat. My name's Miriam. I'm being upstaged slightly. I'm the education officer and one of the collection managers here at the Conservancy, and I've been asked to do today's Tuesday tea time chat. So here I am. I decided that I'd do this in Madeline's aviary because there's always questions about how is Madeline doing, and what's going on at the moment. Now, I'll let you into a slight secret. Madeline wasn't meant to spring into action quite so soon on our live session. But when you work with animals, you can never plan, really. We do our best, but at the end of the day, they will do what they want to do when they want to do it. So Madeline has come straight onto stage, and if you'd have asked me when I started at the Hawk Conservancy in 2011, which is what, 9 years ago now, Miriam, go and sit in Madeline's aviary and record a Facebook Live, or you know, sit without recording anything, I'd have said no, quite frankly, because this bird is renowned for getting bored of whatever she's being asked to do in demonstration. So normally she would have been kicking, or he, sorry, would have been kicking a rubber snake, demonstrating his prowess and hunting ability, and if he gets bored of that, then he's very well known for turning his attention to whoever's was working with him and kicking them, sometimes in the head. So I would not have been happy about filming this 10 years ago. However, Madeline is 29 years old and has retired from demonstration work, and in his old age, because he is quite old, he has really quite mellowed, and one of the things that he seems to enjoy, seems to benefit from, is interaction with us. So I couldn't think of anywhere better to come and sit and enjoy some of this afternoon sunshine, and talk to you guys, than to come in here and sit with Madeline. What Madeline's been doing behind me is I have put out some insects for Madeline to find, to chase, to kick. Incredibly, a bird of this size out in Africa is predominantly feeding actually on insects, and that could be locusts, might even be grasshoppers. They would find things like spiders, even the occasional scorpion, and they pursue their prey by chasing it and dispatch their prey by kicking it, and that makes them unique in the raptor world, because other birds of prey will seize, they catch hold of whatever they're trying to catch. They catch hold of it using really strong feet and sharp talons, and that's the lethal thing about raptors normally. But with Madeline, she's got these super duper long legs, and of course she uses those to deliver incredible force. Not so much force now. He's 29 years old, I have to say. Not that I really need to test out during the course of this live session. I'm fairly confident he's not going to show me how much force he can still deliver, because I'm hoping that I've put enough out there to distract him. But yeah, we actually did a study with Madeline. I think it was in 2016 now. If you go on the website, on the Hawk Conservancy website, You can look at publications, and you can see there's all sorts of really fascinating studies and research that's been done over the years here at the Trust. And Madeline took part in some research in 2016, which was to measure the ability of that kick. And from a standing still position, this 8-pound bird is able to kick out and deliver an impact that's 5 times his body weight from a standing still position. Lethal, absolutely lethal. And when you come back to see us, which we really hope won't be long, of course this time of year during Easter, oh dear, such a shame, isn't it? It's blue skies, and you would be treated to, and will be treated to, watching a bird who's taken on Madeline's role in the demonstrations. He's called Angola, and Angola is a couple of years old now. He kicks with quite a lot more enthusiasm than Madeline. Madeline retired from demonstration about 3 years ago now, 4 years ago in fact, and that's why we still, come and sit with him and interact with him, because he's had so much of his life being involved with us, and even though he wasn't born, he didn't hatch in the wild, he hatched in captivity. He kind of has that connection to people, so yeah, it's we can't say things like he's happy to see me or he longs to work with us, but they interact with us, and there's definitely some mutual benefit from us interacting and spending time together. Have you eaten all of those? Would you like some? I've got other things. Just see what I can find him. Because if I don't keep him busy, then this could all go horribly wrong. So Madeline completely upstaged me. It was not the intro that I was planning. A couple of little bits before I answer some of these amazing questions, and there's some pretty cool questions that have been coming in since yesterday when Alice put this up, that I was going to be doing this. So yeah, a little bit about me. Like I say, I've been at the Trust for many years now, and seen all sorts of changes over the years. My job is as education officer. Again, this time of year, I would be absolutely jam-packed, working with schools week in, week out, running workshops, talking to children about conservation. I'm not doing any of that. It's really, really weird. It's really strange, really sad, really strange. At the same time though, it's given me a lot of time or a bit of time, not a lot. I thought I'd have more time, but it is giving me a bit of time to catch up on some of the paperwork and the other projects that I've got going on. But I'm still in the process of dealing with emails and bookings and everything else. So it's been quite chaotic for everybody at the Trust, and everybody in the world. We're all going through it, aren't we? And it's all uncertain. The main thing is though, that the support that we've had, the emails I've had from teachers that have cancelled. We've had to cancel their trips for this term and some of the summer term. The main message has been that everybody's raring to come back and see us when we're able to open again, and so much support for what we do, which is just it makes it a lot easier to deal with, actually, knowing that we've got all of that support. So thank you. And my job as education officer, like I say, I spend a lot of time with children. My role is split in two. Last year I was promoted to collection manager, which is really exciting for me. I get to do the other love of my job, which is all things kind of husbandry and welfare and nutrition and breeding. There's all sorts involved in my job. it's very varied, and I get to work with a wonderful team of staff who are all as passionate and bonkers about birds as I am. So it just, yeah, I love my job. That's fair to say. But I am kind of split in two. So I've got my education officer hat, and then I've got my collection manager hat. So I am very busy in the week. But my mum and dad were both, both taught, were both teachers. So it's kind of in my blood to want to pass information on. And I get a huge amount of enjoyment of educating children about what they can do to look after nature. I think he's run out of food again. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And again, I think I've already said it, but your support has been fantastic. We have absolutely been blown away by all the messages and emails and the following of the videos, and the live sessions that we've been doing. This is it's not unknown territory to us, because we do it as part of our normal kind of remit, but this is what we're doing completely now in order to keep our connection with you, and so that we keep you updated. So it's very, very strange, but the response from everybody has been just amazing. So it gives you hope, doesn't it? It just makes you feel like it is all going to be okay eventually. And the main thing is that I hope that you're all healthy and happy and coping with this situation that we find ourselves in. And the other thing, before I move on to questions, because there's quite a few questions to get through, the other thing that I really need to do, Madeline, don't make this the moment that this all goes wrong. Look, you want this? The other thing that I really need to do is to give a big shout out to somebody who's very, very, very special to us all at the Trust, but he's not here at the Trust today. In fact, he's at the other end of the country in the Highlands, celebrating his birthday today. So from all of us at the Hawk Conservancy on-site team and off-site team, because there's lots off-site at the moment as well, we're spread out all over the place, we'd like to wish Ashley Smith a very, very happy birthday. We hope that you and Tracy will have a wonderful day today, and I'll give you a call later. We'll have a quick catch up. Anyway, happy birthday, Ash. Right, kind of waffled on quite a bit, haven't I? I need to check a few things. Let's have a look at some of these questions. Oh, by the way, as well, I'm just looking at some of these questions, and I have been told that anybody with if you've got a particular question about any of our vulture projects, the IVP, or the British projects as well, because there's been lots of questions about red kites especially, then something to look forward to. There's going to be a Q&A session with both Dr. Matt Stevens and Dr. Campbell Mern. They are going to be doing some individual sessions, and they can answer all your questions about those projects and what's going on, and how those particular species might be dealing with the current situation as well. I'm sure there's so many questions. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. So that, and it also allows me to answer some of the other things, because we've got so many different questions, and we've had a lot of response on Alice's or our Facebook announcement that I was doing this session. So I'm going to try and knock off a few of those questions to start with. I can work this bit of equipment. more distraction. Might be seen as well, I don't know if you can see it in the background with Madeline's being upstaged by Brandy, one of our white storks. Put out a little bit more food for Madeline. Ow! Oh dear, I'm sitting on the grass, not comfortable. Okay, so Alison Clark has a question. Seeing as it's quiet there at the minute, when one of the birds or the whole flock of one species call out as normal, sing or shout a warning cry, do any of the other birds reply or respond to whichever call? Or in some way make their own warning cries to warn each other, or do they go silent? I love this bit. I'm asking as when my budgie hears the red kites outside or falcons on the TV, it starts screeching and flaps about. Okay, I think I understand the question, Alison. You may be able to hear in the background there's birds calling all over the place. A moment ago there was the call of the African fish eagle. That's a fellow, he's a few aviaries down from where I am at the moment, and often when he calls we've got another fish eagle, Victoria, and she will immediately start calling back. It's a beautiful, beautiful call. And interestingly, if kites, sometimes other raptors, but you know, quite a lot of time kites fly over at low level, or if we're flying a bird and it ventures over the grounds, it's thermaling maybe, and it sort of soars over Othello's aviary, or maybe the Stella's sea eagle's aviary, then they will all start erupting. And I have to say that all the fish eaters are quite noisy. They're very vocal. And then you can add in the mix of, we've got Diego, a blue-winged kookaburra, and she starts going at the same time. It can all be quite exciting. But as far as the wild birds, our birds don't, their warning calls, they're kind of letting us know that there's something there. And actually, I don't know if you saw the footage, the incredible footage a few weeks ago, where we had the white-tailed sea eagle fly over the trust. I am devastated because we've split the team, the bird team, into two. We're two separate teams, so that, you know, if we get sick we're not all wiped out type thing. And actually I got a little bit poorly at the beginning of all of this. Day after my birthday I got a cough and had a temperature, and that was me. Don't come in, stay at home. And I was fine, and I live on site as well, so I was in the loop with things, but I had to stay at home for 2 weeks. And would you believe it, the two and a half weeks that I was at home, they all got to see a white-tailed fly over the trust. How devastated was I? I did send them some quite angry messages actually, that they didn't ring me and tell me that it was flying over my house. But that was happening. So now we're all on high alert, because we realised I realised from watching the videos, that when the presence of the eagle was flying over the trust, all of our eagles in particular were just the vocal, they were so vocal. It was amazing, it was incredible. And actually that's probably why that wild bird was coming down so low, because it could hear our birds calling and wanted to kind of check out what the hell was going on down here. And as everybody said, Gary said it, and you know, in the video, we are likely to see those birds occasionally. Very, very lucky being where we are, with the Isle of Wight project going on. Not that was a bird from that project, but you know, we will hopefully start to see them about. So don't know whether I've answered that. If our birds see other birds of prey, other raptors, then they do make, whether you can call it alarm calls. Alarm calls are more if they feel threatened. It's almost like letting everybody know that I can see you, I'm here, type thing. There are lots of different vocalisations that the birds make. I've got an African grey parrot at home, and when he hears a raptor, which he often does, he just learns the call. So I think maybe with your budgie, you need to turn the volume of the TV down if it's upsetting him and it causes him to screech. But he might, it might not be that he's upset by it. He might just be trying to have a chat back. Okay. I need to move through these questions a bit quicker, don't I? So, Jono Robertson, I've got a question here. Do you still fly that lovely kestrel in the public display? Yes. Obviously, itching first to be open again and get her back in public display. But I think you're referring to Scout. And it was a hard one actually, because I did think about when I did this session for you, it might be nice to sit with Scout because everybody knows me and Scout really well. And she's just ace, isn't she? But I felt like we needed something different, really. But don't worry, because there is another question about Karen Aslett. She's asked, at the end of the shift, which bird would you go to say goodbye to? Well, Scout lives next to the gate that I go through to get into my house, which is very convenient because I am absolutely in love with Scout, and so I can say good morning to her every day when I come out of my house, and I can say good night to her when I go home, and then I say it again when I go out with the dog a little bit later. So yeah, I live next door to her, Avery, and the only downside to that is that she can sometimes be quite vocal when she sees me. So I can't leave my house or go back to my house without the entire park knowing that I'm at the gate to my house, because Scout is very vocal when she sees me. But she is lovely, and she's beautiful to watch in display. On a day like today, she would be thriving with the sunshine and the wind that we've got, doing some hovering for audiences. So can't wait to get you all back in and on the seats, really. Meanwhile, Madeline's kind of finished off all the food. Just another quick one while I'll get back to the questions. Insects, which I gave Madeline, are actually a huge part. In fact, it's the majority of their diet is insect based. So that's quite a natural form of enrichment to give him. We're all very familiar with the snake. Obviously they're famous for their ability to deal with a snake, and I do actually have, I'm not going to put it out for long, I do have a snake. You watch the killer instinct now come in. So I'm going to put the snake quite close to me. Can't resist a snake, by the way. Maybe the insects have satisfied. Ooh! You want to kick him again? No? We use a padded snake now, he's 29. Sorry, I got completely distracted. Anybody that knows me knows that that's quite normal. Right, so question. Oh, we've got George. Got a couple of questions. I think we've got 2 questions from George here. George, aged 9. First question. Would like to know what he should do if he would like to work with birds. Okay, I started my career, feels like quite a long time ago, as did a lot of the staff that are here. My experience of raptors and working with birds of prey started at quite a young age, and I became a volunteer. There's a very, very long story behind that, which I'm not going to get into because I do know that I'm on a bit of a time limit and I haven't actually drunk any of my tea with you yet. So I started my career as a volunteer, and it's one of the best ways to learn. There's lots of fantastic centres and organisations that fly birds, work with birds, birds of prey, and I think my best advice to anybody that's interested at a young age is to find a local centre, and obviously go along and suss it out. You'll know whether you like the vibe of the place. That's certainly what I did. Is you can kind of tell people are genuine, aren't they? And the birds will look well cared for, and the aviaries will look clean, and you know the flying is lovely and whatever, you know. So just go along and find out when they accept volunteers. And volunteering is a fantastic way to learn more, or to find out what it's like to work with birds. I mean, obviously our volunteers, we have a whole army of volunteers, which we are lost without you, by the way, and really missing all of our volunteers because we've got so many regular volunteers here at the Trust, and the age range goes right through. Okay, so but for the younger volunteers, it's an opportunity to come into. You do learn about all the hard graft that goes into working with animals. Full stop, really. Touch my face. Animals. Full stop. There's a lot of hard work that goes in, but if you're willing to do that, not bothered about snake, is he? If you're willing to do that and to go in and give your time up, you'll learn so much from volunteering. So yeah, volunteering is definitely the way to go. And then there's a ton of different animal care courses, conservation courses, and degrees, A-levels. You know, there's all sorts of different studies that you can do that would set you up really well for working in conservation or working in a zoo. So that going down those kinds of pathways and being interested in that, and then volunteering as well, sets you up really well with some good experience, and you know, qualifications are always helpful as well. I have a teaching qualification, and 20 plus years of experience working with the birds. So yeah, there's all sorts of different backgrounds to the staff that work here at the Trust. So I hope that answers that one. Right, let's see what have we got next. Oh, how is Madeline doing, and why do secretary birds have such long legs? Well, See her long legs. His long legs. Oh dear, I can't cope with this. Madeline is definitely a boy, by the way. Just if you're wondering why I keep going from he to she, it's just one of those things my brain can't process, but it's Madeline doesn't mind. He's quite happy that I can't think. So why does he have such long legs? I could do with getting him back into shot really, now that he's just kind of walked off. You want to come over here and show everybody your long legs? Right. Long legs for the secretary bird, really, really useful, because where they come from, their habitat would be grassland, savanna, and very long grass would be around. Not, you know, they wouldn't move into areas with really thick bush, but certainly long grass means that all your rodents and your insects and your snakes and birds, ground birds, are going to use the long grass to hide in. You know, they get the cover, they get the protection from that habitat. And the secretary bird is equipped with these beautiful long legs, longer than any other raptor. It's in a group all of its own. There's nothing else that looks like it, behaves like it. And the advantage of the long legs, one, it means that force, with the way that they dispatch their prey, the whole kicking of the snake or insects or rodents, they can deliver that force. So that's the first advantage. But another great advantage for this bird is having these legs, is the fact that that tall grass, they can tower above the tall grass, and as they're walking through the savannah, they can see what's moving in front of them. You know, they've got some of the largest eyes of any raptor, and their ability to see detail and to pick up movement. So we would walk through the long grass and not notice a little reptile, lizard, or, you know, or rodent scurrying along and trying to get away. We wouldn't notice that. But the secretary bird has these fantastically large eyes and is able to pick up and notice movement very, very quickly, very, very quickly. So those long legs mean that he's got really good view out in front, because the action of actually walking through the savanna grass is going to make things run. He's going to flush them in effect. And sometimes the secretary bird will work as a pair. There'll be two birds working together, and they kind of cooperatively walk, and that flushes out anything in front of them. I had the most amazing experience in 2012, because I went to South Africa, on our vulture ringing conservation project, and went to Kimberley, and we saw a pair of secretary birds walking through the long grass. We saw them on the wing as well. They're very, very capable flyers, and they kind of look like, I'll say cranes, you know, or storks, with their legs, like, instead of tucked up, their legs are out the back, and because they've got such long legs, you see them out the back. So they're quite strange to see in flight, but enormous. Madeline's actually gone to bed now, because he's probably got bored of the fact that we've been doing this for quite a while. So there you go, long legs, that wouldn't you know. Right, what is your standout moment from a career of working with birds of prey? Too many to pick one. In a very, very brief summary, this last year I've been working with a bird called Mamba, who I hope you'll see a lot more of if you come and visit us when we open again, or when you come and visit us. And Mamba is a white-headed vulture. It's the first time I've had the opportunity to train a juvenile vulture, even more special because we bred Mamba here at the Trust. Angus and Satara are her parents. and she is flying free and really incredible. That's definitely been a wow moment of my career. But you know, all the different birds that you get to work with and train, you become so incredibly proud of them and so attached to them in a way that they're all wow moments. Going to Africa is a pretty big deal as well. Anyway, lots of wow moments. I just love my job. How is Scout getting on, Bradley? Hello, Bradley. Nice of you to drop us a message. And I know you've got another message. Part of your message here is about the vultures and what impact this whole situation is having on vultures. And I'm going to let Campbell talk about that when he does his Q&A session. All I will say is that there are many positive effects for wildlife and nature, as we can all imagine, with less planes in the sky, less cars on the road, less people out and about. So none of that is a bad thing. Right, how is Scout getting on? Scout is fine. Scout's brilliant. She is just enjoying sitting in her aviary mostly at the moment, because as any of you that know Scout will know that on several occasions during her career, my career with her, she's had little sessions of, well, the last session was a year ago and she took me about 14 miles. She wears a radio transmitter when we fly her, and on a day like today, with lovely blue skies and sun shining, she decided to go on the biggest jolly of her life, and 14 miles later and about 8 hours later I picked her up from farmland in another part of the county. So yes, we made a decision that Scout is quite content in her aviary. I go and see her, as you know, every day, and I still do enrichment sessions with her, but we have to be really careful, obviously, because if there are birds that we know that can wander a little bit like Scout, that wouldn't be sensible with the current restrictions and everything in place. So but Scout is very, very happy. Do you know what? I've just looked at the clock on and I've realised that I have been going now for nearly 40 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up. It's been really lovely. It's flown by so much I haven't even drunk my tea, and it's cold. So it's been so lovely chatting to you. It's a bit bizarre. I feel like I've gone completely mad and been talking to myself for the last 40 minutes, but I hope that you've enjoyed meeting Madeline and listening to me waffle on. Thank you so much for all your support and everything you've been doing. Please keep on doing it. You know, keep on following us, keep on watching the videos and the live sessions. Keep on sending your questions in. I know that I can see there's so many questions that I haven't got to, and I'm really sorry. So if you just, any questions that I haven't got to, I will make sure that I answer today, this afternoon. So I will start working my way through those in a moment. And apart from that, please stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and we really hope that we can welcome you back here very soon for some high action flying demonstrations. Okay, see you later.